Hey everybody, your mysterious GM Bobby here. And why am I mysterious? Because today we're going to be talking about investigation. Sherlock Holmes style. There's a mystery to be solved. So what exactly do I mean when I say an investigation scenario? Your players are on a run or a mission or an adventure where they've got to find a series of clues or follow a series of events or do some problem solving, and it requires them to investigate in order to accomplish their main goal. Maybe it's solving a mystery like catching a murderer or stopping a thief or tracking down a missing person. Whatever it is, it'll have your players putting on their deerstalker cap and sporting a fancy pipe and magnifying glass and searching for clues. Yes. How to solve the mystery. This is a magnifying glass, and this is supposed to be one of those fancy Sherlock Holmes. I don't have one of those, so I just use my Indiana Jones replica. I bet I could find a Here. Huh? $108. Huh. Who buys these things? Rule number 1, don't write a novel. Now, come on. We've all been there. We have this awesome story idea, so we write this incredibly detailed backstory and these awesomely fleshed out 2-page history NPCs. Don't do it. When you devote a lot of time and energy into writing this detailed, awesome novel of a backstory, you'll inevitably become far too attached to your version of the story and how all the events played out, and you'll be too inflexible in how you let your players navigate that story in that space. Remember, this is supposed to be a fun game for everybody, not just a place for you to vet new ideas for your HBO series scripts. The hand without a gun in it is reached out, grasping the forehead of a woman who kneels in front of him, head tilted back and her jaw slackly hanging open. Rule number 2, get your players to write the story for you. I mean, don't literally get them to write the story for you. That would be stupid. Once you've painted those broad strokes and you've kind of gotten the larger picture figured out about what you want the scenario to be, then just throw your players into it. A lot of time and energy is often wasted in trying to figure out how your players are going to get from scene to scene. But if there's one thing that GMs know, it's that when players sit down at the gaming table, they're suddenly imbued with the supernatural ability to somehow avoid all of those finely crafted, placed yellow brick roads you've laid out before them. Listen to what they think is going on, and then steal their ideas.
So I think the janitor stole the stuff.
Yeah, he was probably jealous of all the husband's money.
Yeah, and the wife was having an affair with the janitor.
Interesting theory. I guess you'll just have to wait and see.
Rule number 3, write the scenes first. As I said before, there's this tendency that we GMs have when we get this great idea to go ahead and map out everything that's going to happen in terms of how the players are going to move from one place to the next. Once the mage sees the dried blood, he'll use some ritual magic to track down the source of the blood. Yes, this is brilliant. That's not going to work. Let your players come up with their own ideas for how they're going to get from scene to scene. Come up with the ideas, these isolated scenes first, where you want your players to be. These scenes should represent locations that they're going to be or potential situations that they could be getting into. All you need to do is provide some clues to get from scene to scene to scene. Now that leads me to rule number 4, the 3+1 rule. This is a variation on the 3-clue rule that is talked about by Justin Alexander in his blog, The Alexandrian. The link will be in the notes. Every scene that you could possibly want your players to get to should have at least 3 clues that could lead them there. Now this is because players are really good at being oblivious to all the clues that you've laid out for them. This isn't really a knock on players. The reason for this is because GMs, as we're laying out the scene and the scenario that we want our players to be in, the clues are obvious to us. I mean, we're the ones putting them there. By making 3 of them for each scene, you just increase the likelihood that your players are going to notice them and get to the scene that you want them to be at. Now, the +1 part of the rule is that if a scene is absolutely essential for your players to get to, then you must provide at least one failsafe for them to make sure that they will get to that scene. Now, it could be anything. It could be maybe Mr. Johnson will call them at the last minute and say, hey, I know you guys are looking for this guy, but I see him right here. He's at the coffee shop across the street from me. Maybe they hear something on the news or see something on the trid that tips them off. Something that will, if all else fails, lead the players to where you want them to be.
Here! Right here! I don't know how many ways I have to say it. Mysterious runes that you should probably investigate.
Now this naturally leads to rule number 5. Give it to them! If there is an important clue that is essential for your players to move on, then just give it to them. Don't make your players rely on roles like perception or negotiation, because inevitably you're going to end up in a situation where they fail. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, the risk of failure is an important part of a role-playing game, any game really, and especially Shadowrun. I agree totally. But what's not fun is for your players to just say, shrug, I guess we don't get to complete the mission because we rolled badly.
I mean, I don't really know what to tell you.
It happens. That's not fun. Just be prepared to contrive some sort of way to give it to them anyway in the inevitable event that they fail. Rule number 6. Just go with the flow. If you don't remember any rule but one, then remember this one. Just go with the flow. This is a good rule for any type of scenario that you're running. Your players are going to do things that you don't expect. I'm going to pee on him.
What?
Don't stop them. Let them do it. Find a way to make their ideas work. This is the fun of a role-playing game, is the unexpected, and you, as the GM, just have to improvise a way to make their ideas fold into the story. It's really worth it if you can do this. So let's say your player walks into a random bar and you didn't expect them to do that. Just throw somebody in the back corner of the bar who's willing to, exchange a little tiny piece of information for a drink or something. It'll point them in the right direction. It'll point them maybe in the direction that you really want them to go. Now, I hope that was really helpful for you guys. I know that running investigation scenarios can be really frustrating. A lot of people think that they're boring because there's not a lot of action. Hopefully this is a way that you guys see that running investigation scenarios can really be interesting and really be cool and not as much of a headache as everybody thinks. I want to hear your guys' ideas about how to run investigation and mystery type scenarios. What have you guys done to make these work really well? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm really excited to hear from you guys and we can talk about it on the next episode. If you liked what you saw, please give it a thumbs up, like it. Also, subscribe if you'd like to see some more stuff that we're doing, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!